Hey, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to the Weekly Way, your weekly devotional commentary on the Torah, half-Torah, and Brit Chadasha portions. Today we are in Parashah, or Torah portion number 29, which is Acharei-Mot, which means after the death, and it's taken from Leviticus chapter 16, verse 1, all the way to chapter 18, verse 30. Now, our focus text is Leviticus 17, verses 10 and 12. Here, we have a clear prohibition of not eating any kosher, permissible, clean animal. In other words, what the scripture and Hebraic mind deems as food or edible, which still has the blood in it, or the blood which has not been properly drained out of the meat. Spiritually speaking, it's because blood is the symbol of life and is the method of atonement. Physically, because it is unhealthy, and as we know today, as God knew all along, blood carries blood-borne pathogens and disease, and that's why we're not supposed to eat it or consume it. Leviticus says, "For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it for you on the altar to make atonement for your souls. For it is by, the sacrifice and atonement and everything, which is for life." So this is not just for the Jew, but for the Gentile as well. And this moves us on to the half-Torah portion, which is taken from Ezekiel chapter 22, verses 25 through 28. This tells us what is a current problem in Christendom today, and that is that no one distinguishes between the holy and the profane, the clean and the unclean, the kosher and the treif. Verse 27b says, "Like wolves who tear prey to shed blood, to destroy, sold for the sake of unjust gain." The Torah tells us that any clean animal torn by a wild animal is not kosher. It's no longer considered a food source. It's no longer consumable or edible. You can give it to your animal to eat or whatever, but it's considered unclean. Now, moving on to the Brit Chadasha portion, we're going to be focusing on Acts chapters 10 and 11. Unlike what Christendom says about Peter in Acts 10 and 11, having a divine revelation that is okay for a believing Jew and Messiah to have a ham sandwich, that the unclean pig and such has been made clean, that's what basically Christendom says about Peter's vision in Acts chapter 10 and 11, that the vision that Peter had deemed unclean, unkosher animals as clean. But the point being is that unkosher, unclean animals were never considered a food source. And this vision was not about changing the Levitical dietary laws. It was not about it wasn't about food. It was an allegorical vision linking unclean animals and equating them with people, specifically Gentiles. So this is one of the biggest farces in modern-day Christendom today. Peter himself even gives us the interpretation of the vision of the unclean animals let down from heaven in a sheet to mean that Jews are not to call or consider Gentile believers common or unclean, that Gentiles are to be accepted into the faith. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. His laws, his instructions, his commandments are eternal. They have not been altered or amalgamated. As we see in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17, it says, "Do not think that I've come to abolish the Torah," that is the law, "or the prophets. I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill." And that word fulfill doesn't mean I fulfilled it so you don't have to. It means to bring it into its full and complete meaning and understanding in order for you yourself to obey it. So that is the Torah, half-Torah, and Brit Chadasha portions, Torah portions for today. Hey, thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Shabbat Shalom and Shavua Tov. Come check out the playlist, Ponderings of the Pirkei Avot, on the RaYBaSH YouTube channel, which is a complete video commentary on all the chapters and verses of the Jewish work, Ethics of the Fathers, from a Messianic perspective.